Welcome to the Austin Wedding Show. I'm your host, Jordan Bunch, and we are coming to you right here from the heart of wedding country in the world famous Ladybird Studios. This is my co-host, the one and only Taylor Juarez.
Thanks, Jordan. Today we have a very special guest wedding planner. She's been in the wedding industry for over 5 years, but she just recently started her own planning company called Momentous Weddings, Events, and Designs. In addition to being an awesome planner, she also has a background in textiles and apparel and offers custom garment design. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out Carissa Melendez.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Tell us about what you've been up to lately.
I have been doing lots of wedding planning and event planning, and I actually just got finished with a styled shoot I did back in November at the Prospect House. And this styled shoot was meant to kind of feature the design side of Momentous, which comes out in fall 2020.
Nice.
So I got to custom make a bridal gown.
Cool.
And I named it the Danielle gown after a beautiful model, which the couple, it was hard to find at first, but we found a couple that actually just recently got married about a month and a half, 2 months prior.
Is that newlywed chemistry going on?
Yeah, they definitely, yes. It was like a second wedding. Well, that's what they said. It was like a second wedding, but also our goal was really to capture like genuine love. So honestly, I couldn't pick better couple. I definitely was jealous that I was not their wedding planner. Yeah. And I cried when they were, I'm a very emotional person, but I cried at certain shots that they did just because you could tell how much in love they were. But anyway, so I did make the gown for that, and it turned out beautifully. I was glad that my team really liked it because I didn't get to see the bridal gown until the day of. Yeah. Oh, wow. But they knew the time that went into it. But it matched our theme. We did kind of like a bohemian chic theme. Oh, nice. And so we tried to change it up, the normal like floral and greenery that we see at Prospect House a lot. So on that bud vase wall that normally has the flowers, we did like this dried theme that kind of arched up, and we did like wicker baskets and oranges and my color red, little pops of
I saw your Instagram
red.
story. It was looking so cool.
Thank you. And then on the ceremony square, we did kind of like these grates angled with florals, like monochromatic, kind of growing through it. So we tried to do like a take on both dryness and then life. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we had a great team, and it was a lot of work, but totally worth it, and we were there all day. But yeah, that's what I've just finished doing, and yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. We actually recently shot a wedding with you at Prospect House for Meredith and Thanos. The Ladybird Studios team filmed that wedding, and that was actually your first wedding with your new company?
It was.
Yeah, that one was super fun and unique because it was a Greek wedding. Yep. So tell us more about the day.
So it went beautifully. It was the biggest blessing and the best opening, I would say, for Momentous Wed. And I had the most incredible clients and team to work with. So I wasn't nervous leading into it, but I knew it was going to be bigger. And Greek weddings, I remember the family was like, "Have you seen my big fat Greek wedding?"
I remember I asked you that too.
Yes, it was you. And I was like, "No, I haven't." And Taylor was the one that was like, "You should probably watch it before." Yes. And so I emailed her after. I watched 2 of them. There's 2 of them, right? Yeah. Okay, I watched both of them. And my mind was blown, and I was slightly freaking out, like, "Oh my gosh!" I didn't meet Thanos' family yet, so I was a little worried, like, "Oh my gosh!" But then when I met them, I felt super welcomed, and they ended up inviting me. This is a side note, but they ended up inviting me to the rehearsal dinner. And I really got to know his side of the family, because usually the groom's side of the family does the rehearsal dinner, and they treated me like family. Just right off the bat, it was so lovely, and obviously I got to know the couple throughout planning, and we went through a lot, but everything was very smooth, and you could feel the love radiating off the couple and the happiness from the both sides of the both parents, and that's my goal, is to make sure that everyone, yes, is happy, but that you are truly, genuinely enjoying the experience, because that's part of my company. Not only do I want you to have the experience while we're planning, throughout the planning process, I want us to have fun. I want us to go get wine together for a meeting, and then, go on nice walks. I mean, it sounds funny, but I want you to get to know me and trust me. They fully trusted me, and that meant the world to me. And my vendors, like you guys, I know I've worked with you before, but trusting me, knowing that I've got the schedule on par, where we've, it was perfect, in my opinion. I'm incredibly thankful.
And it makes everyone's life so much easier when it is. So hats off to you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you made it a great experience for us too. Like emailing back and forth was just so easy. You had all the details, even more than sometimes we get. And so that was super great. So what we want to do now is take a look back at the wedding through the film that we made of Meredith and Thanos' wedding. And you'll have control of the pause and play button. Okay. So just stop the video at any point that you want to tell us more about the wedding.
Okay.
Let's do it.
And
The servant of God, Athanasios, is crowned to the servant of God, Meredith, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
First pause. So, tradition in... so we had like a Greek Orthodox wedding and American, so it was a good challenge, like I was telling you before at the wedding. Instead of doing like the normal weddings we always have, we had two different kind of cultures going on. So here they have like a special table, linen. Some American weddings do communion, but this one had one glass that they share, their Bible. They do a crowning ceremony that they walk around, if you remember. And so those are all Greek traditions. And so that's what that table is there.
And become even greater than us two families.
We always wanted a third child. Well, we just got one.
This is Thanos' dad. He taught me a lot about the Greek culture. So at the rehearsal dinner and through one of our venue walkthroughs, I got to meet his parents. The reason I stopped here is because it was very helpful. He helped me pronounce certain things and understand the culture. I definitely studied it, and Meredith and Thanos were very helpful too. But I did not want to embarrass myself in front of them or say something wrong. So he was very...
Just got one.
So on this, you'll notice like a lot of the dancing shots show the couple in the middle or the groom in the middle, and then people dancing in circles holding hands around it. That's a traditional Greek dance. There's actually quite a few of them that we did throughout the wedding. However, this one, maybe not this one in particular, but there is like a traditional bride and groom Greek dance. I can't pronounce it. Meredith and Thanos would be ashamed. But they get in the middle and they throw dollars towards them, which at first I was unsure about, but that's a tradition where they're just like wishing them luck, I believe, and good fortune, a good marriage. At first, as a planner, I was freaking out that someone would step on it and fall, but everyone did well.
Awesome.
Meredith.
So real quickly, I just want to do shout out to Tim Waters for photography. He got this shot, which I love, but also you'll notice like the florals in here, that was Wild Bunches florals.
Grace Stark, my love for you started with the white rose. When I learned you were accepted into the Texas Orange Jackets, I was so excited to have more opportunities to know you. You taught me true friendship and loyalty and its meaning.
It's a special family heirloom tradition, so you'll see certain things that Thanos wears is Greek culture.
And through those early years, I saw what it meant to show grace and love. My love for you grew overseas. Our study abroad trip to London was the most magical experience of my life. I got to spend every day with you.
Lavish Beauty did a beautiful job here.
Yes.
Day with you and grow closer to you. Life hit us hard in the beginning. We were dealing with emotional problems in school, dealing with the pain we've experienced in past relationships. There were tragic losses of friends and emergencies with family. But through it all, I never wanted...
So one thing you'll notice throughout the video, there's some shots of Thanos reading like a letter that Meredith wrote for him privately, and then Meredith as well. Sometimes you'll get shots at different weddings where they're reading them to one another. They're in each other's presence. They read it out loud. So what you hear right now is their actual vows. You don't hear the letter that they wrote to one another. So one thing I like to let clients know is like that can be private. And we'll have the photographer and the videographers, as you see, capturing the reaction and the moment so they can look back and remember it. And Meredith can now see, she definitely cried at this part, but she can now see his reaction and vice versa. So it's important for clients to know, like, you can have private moments there to just let it soak in versus in front and out loud.
I was scared. I was already in a place where I wanted to weather any storm with you. Everything I did with you was then with the full intention of being each other's side no matter what. Something early on in our relationship told me you should be my wife, and I never once stopped believing that. My vows to you, Meredith Stark, are simple. I vow to work tirelessly to make you feel.
So here, just to explain like one of the stylistic elements within their wedding, so we have like American and Greek culture put together. And so we used a special type of greenery, and we wanted to, Greek, it's very green. It's very lush. And so the Meredith and Thanos were both engineers, and they very much liked the structural simplicity of Prospect House. And so for here, we wanted structural shapes, like those small golds that are on those little pops of flowers, and keeping those lines. And so that's a reoccurring element you'll see within the wedding. You'll see some Greek circles, some gold circles, and some greenery, but you'll also see a lot of geometrical shapes that just, gives it a nice Greek structural flair.
Yeah.
Make you feel safe and loved.
This
I will
is their
continue to
first
love you
month.
the same way you loved me for so many years. I
And
vow to
he
lift
loved
you up
it.
and give you guidance when you are struggling. When you need my words of support, I will readily provide them. And when all you need is my supportive silence, I will offer my warmth and comfort. I will always be your strongest supporter in everything that you do. And I vow to be your protector over those who try to harm you. Most importantly, I will continue to seek out your laughter because it brings me the purest joy. And that is when I am happiest with you. All of these things and more I vow to you, my love. I'm so unbelievably humbled and forever thankful that you chose me.
Athanasios Alexander Metaxas. Before I met you, I had lost hope that I would ever find a partner who would love me fully and accept me.
So there's a term for it, but in traditional Greek ceremonies, they do hold candles. I don't recall the term for it. However, that's why you'll see them have the candle, and then eventually they will then pass it on to the maid of honor or the best man.
Can I ask a question here?
Yes.
I've done a number of Greek weddings, never one outside before. Is there anything to that?
That is a good question. What I learned is you typically never see a Greek wedding outside of the church.
Okay.
So the family had to do a lot of searching, a lot of research to try to find Father Serge. They found, but trying to find someone who would do like an authentic wedding outside. We were a little nervous on the beginning stages of planning, though. We were a little nervous how that was going to work, because when we were first talking about the wedding, Thanos had mentioned, like, I want to bring some Greek elements to it. And so at first, in my mind, I was thinking, oh yeah, we'll make sure it looks Greek. But then as I got to know him, I realized, oh no, we're going to make this a Greek Orthodox style wedding as much as we can. And so I remember when we were in the beginning stages of talking about the ceremony, he had mentioned it's going to be pretty tough for us to get someone from the church to come. And again, like, they went through a lot to find someone, but they did. They're not like your normal officiant, I would say. And there's a certain respect level that you have to give them because they are coming from the church. I mean, we respect everyone anyways, but there's a certain way that you speak to them. And Father Serge in this scenario, like, he was very kind, and I was nervous at first because I part of me felt like, should I bow? I don't know what to do. But he was very sarcastic, but he was like, you just calm down, you're fine. He kind of talked like this, and he was just reminding me, like, you're fine. I'm a normal person. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Well, that's
quite the
good.
experience.
It's definitely unique to see that in such a beautiful setting. So that's really awesome that they were able to
Yeah,
have
that was a
that.
good question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Me exactly as I am. I was heartbroken, I was cynical, and I believed I was too damaged to deserve the kind of love that my soul longed for. But then you saw me with Outright Rose from Orange Jackets in the computer lab at VCJ. You introduced yourself, and my world started to change. Over the last 5 years, you've shown me the kind of love that I had started to give up on. You saw every single one of my flaws, and you never flinched.
That hair crown, in my opinion, I think it was intentional. It kind of looks like Greek olive branches. And so there's just a little detail up in there. Nice. Also, side note, you have to watch this video and hear their love story because it makes me... Are you tearing up?
Yes. I was like...
I was trying not... So, their love story is one of the most beautiful love stories. Normally, I'm really close to my couples. I've been blessed with wonderful couples, but this couple in particular, yes, we've been through a lot together, but like this couple, I consider some of my closest friends and their family.
That's awesome.
And so, I'm going to cry. So, I just wanted to say that.
You stayed with me through devastating loss, through sickness, through suffering, and through hardship. Your love is so steadfast and strong that I have never once feared that you might walk away from me. When others might have turned in...
So... Can't see it in there, but the design of this, we wanted it to be nice and simple. This does look like some of the other Prospect House weddings you have, but the elements that are in there, we tried to use a specific kind of Greek flower and olive branches, and I want to say it's ruscus to give it more of like a filled look. And then we did little Greek-style aisle markers just to mark like reserved rows from here on up. But welcome to the Prospect House.
Welcome to almost the perfect day you could ask for, minus the heat.
This is the view.
Awesome.
This is the day that we wish for.
Blood, you ran towards me. I cannot stand here and say that I've always dreamed of what my wedding would look like, what my future husband would be like, what dress I would wear, or anything like that. Because I truly never knew that I would find a love so strong and so beautiful enough to carry me to the altar. And I am so glad that I was so incredibly wrong about that. I promise to pray for you and with you. I promise to point you to God when you feel lost in your faith. I promise to open my heart to you even when it feels scary. I promise to always fight for you even when I'm fighting with you. I promise to listen to the needs of your soul and to love you through any hardship life brings you. I promise to support you and to be your greatest ally.
Pause, just because. So one thing that we do at Prospect House weddings, Taylor, you're gonna make me cry.
It's a good one.
One thing that we do at Prospect House weddings is we always encourage like either golden hour photos or even post ceremony, like right after, if you want to take the couples. There's a beautiful field, and in June, look at the flowers. Like,
yeah, amazing.
They are fully grown, and this couple had so much fun jumping around and giggling, and you know,
you're so sweet.
Whoever was it, Marshall that was out there videoing?
Yes.
He got to experience all those giggles. I had to watch it from afar. And Tim Waters, the photographer, they just had so much fun capturing this genuine happiness going on right here. So yeah, this is a good photo spot.
You and to be your greatest advocate. I promise to let you love me even when I think I don't deserve it. And I promise to love you and serve you as the church loves and serves Christ for the rest of my life. These are my promises to you, Thanos. I love you.
Athanasios is crowned to the servant of God Meredith in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
So you know how you said that Thanos is crowned? Mm-hmm. So that was post the crowning, and they kind of walk around that ceremony table together. So that's their way, from my understanding, of saying that we now pronounce them husband and wife. That's the ending statement of that. Yeah. And so when we were practicing at the rehearsal the day before, everyone was all the bridesmaids and groomsmen were confused, me included. We were like, wait, you didn't announce them husband and wife. But you don't do that in their tradition. And so they knew after that was the end of the ceremony. So the family knew, like, that's when we clap, that's when the couple kissed. So then everyone else, the other guests knew, oh, okay, congrats.
Yeah.
So that's this part.
Awesome.
Also, this is a beautiful shot. Good job, guys. That's my favorite photo, and you guys got it on video, and Tim Waters got it. It is, it's the kiss. It's it's the first kiss after stepping off of what I call the sacred space. So Prospect House has 3 steps. Fun fact, the top tier of that step is the sacred space that only the officiant and the couple stand on. All other steps are meant for bridesmaids, groomsmen, and family. And so we always encourage kissing either right when you get down or in the middle, just to know a breather to one another. But yes, you kissed up there, but just okay, we did this. Now we got this. Okay, let's party.
Yeah.
And so here you'll see different elements of like the different structural gold figurines with the garlands kind of woven through it. And
when the rain is blowing in your face,
that's pure happiness right there. So then they decided, because of all the Greek dancing we wanted to include and the fluidity of the event, we decided that once the couples announced, they go straight into their first dance so that they can get that out of the way. And I'm sure you've seen this multiple times. You can do either or. You can start with this and get it out of the way, or later in the evening they can then do their first dance with the other first dances. For them, the lighting was beautiful at this timing, and so I think it was perfect for them to be announced, and then he kind of just twirls her into their first dance. So that's what we're about to
the
watch.
whole world is
And he just loves her so much.
I could offer you a warm embrace.
Note to brides, you will see that she is wearing keds.
Oh, yes.
She got these cute bridal keds. I'm pretty sure they're keds. And they are very comfortable. And so she made sure that they kind of matched the length of the shoes she was wearing before. And the rest of the night she could dance with no problem. And so...
Honestly, so smart.
helpful hint. And you'll also notice here we have the gold rings with some greenery. That just is to represent like Greek symbolism.
To make you feel my...
And one day, this past Christmas, and I just felt weird. So I turned to my parents and I said, like, it feels like someone's not here. And after a moment, Meredith turned to me and she said, Thanos isn't here. And she was right. That was it. That was who was missing. So Thanos, I would normally want to welcome you to our family, but I feel like you're already here.
Meredith was born with a cleft lip and palate.
For that, we used a thicker greenery and we made it, I mean, stylistically, normally we do like thinner greenery, but this was a leafier, like a thicker leaf. That way it had like that more lush, vibrant green feel. Yeah. So people really like that.
So as a dad, and I still remember this, it's a picture in my head. I had to take this 3-month-old baby and hand her to a nurse, and I watched them walk away through the doors to the operating room. And it is wrenching, but I knew it was for the best. And today, I did it again, because I knew that Thanos was the best thing that's ever happened to Meredith. And I knew that he was going to take care of her and take her to places and experiences and a life that she can't have with me. And Thanos, I thank you for loving my daughter, for caring for my daughter, and for the life you're going to have with her.
So, gonna pause. Hey,
That's on my list of
Yeah.
top dad speeches.
Yeah. Hard to beat.
Definitely cried during that, and I was worried at first, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't like people to see the wedding planner cry, because I don't want them to think I'm stressed out. But this is Bubba, this is Meredith's dad, and not only is he one of the most incredible men I've ever met in my entire life, but he loved his daughter so much. And I mean, I wish you were there to experience this toast. Everybody was in tears. I'm sure Marshall was in tears, but I mean, it definitely got us choked up. And I mean, also, like, their family has been such huge supporters of the company too, and they actually live around the corner from me, so we're neighbors. But they mean the world to me, and I know, like, this speech in particular, I'm sure Meredith watches over and over and over. She said she had y'all's video on repeat when you first sent it to her. But this, yeah, it was a beautiful toast. Oh goodness. By the way, So the DJ for this wedding was the music coordinator. His name's Trey, and he did so well. Both of us, like, not nervous in a bad way, but we were like, okay, we got to make sure that we have both Greek music and American music and pop music and, aged music, and so that everyone is enjoying dancing. And so one thing that I think it's important to know is when we were making that timeline and when we were talking about music, Thanos obviously led like the Greek music portion, and about a month out, you'll start focusing in and zooming in on music. And so Trey and I were looped in an email with Thanos, and we were talking about how are we going to make sure we have certain specific Greek songs that we know his family is going to want to hear throughout dinner. Or Greeks like to dance. When you hear music, you dance. You see that in my big fat Greek wedding. But when we were working in Greek music, we had it during cocktail hour, and there were some people dancing. But here we save like the bigger songs. So one thing, it was very surprising the amount, and you'll see in the video, how many guests decided to join in the Greek dancing. Maybe it's because of a little bit of alcohol, but also, everyone was part of it. And they kind of, at the beginning when we first did one of the Greek dances, or definitely the groom's dance, where the groom is in the middle, I think you'll see a part of that in here. Everyone's around him. Everyone was around, and his Greek family were teaching people how to do your feet and how to go. And when you go clockwise, then you go counterclockwise, and then you spin, Yeah. So it was really cool, and you'll get to see that reflected in the video.
The kind of love that I can't let go.
So that shot was of the groom's dance, and I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous for Thanos because I was like, oh my god, he's gonna be dancing in front of 189 people. Oh my goodness, like I don't know, because I didn't know. It reminds me of Dance Dance Revolution, and there's like that Russian dancing. That's what I pictured in my head. And then here Thanos is in his nice suit, bending down, dancing, and doing all these different. I thought he was gonna flip at some point. He might have, but Thanos likes to dance with it. And a good thing about weddings, some people who are like, no, I can't dance. You guys see it all the time too. All of a sudden, honestly, I thought the best man was very shy, and he danced in the middle of the circle multiple times. So did a lot of the guests. So I was like, oh, no, you can dance. It's great.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you actually, we talk about Greek and we think about the dancing and all that culture. What about the food? What was the food like for this wedding?
Okay, so the food was amazing. We chose, or Meredith and Thanos chose Pink Avocado Catering.
Oh, nice.
And when I first met with them, and I asked them, like, I always ask clients, what are the two most important factors you want your guests to experience at your wedding? And or feel or take away from? And they said they want them to have the experience. So I was like, great, I got you. So they wanted the experience, but they wanted like good food. And I automatically assumed like, oh, it's going to be Greek, right? And so when they said that they would like Greek food, but then some traditional Southern elements, Meredith. And so in my mind, I always offer clients 3 or 4 recommendations based on their taste, what they're looking for, and their budget. To me, I was like, Pink Avocado, perfect. They have like exquisite Greek food. Food, yes, but they are very, very good when it comes to Greek. And so the best part is coming to the catering tasting, Meredith and I were kind of nervous because we're like, Thanos knows his Greek food.
Yeah.
And Meredith's family, Thanos' family doesn't live here, so Meredith's family came with us to the catering tasting, and we were all kind of like, oh, God, Thanos is going to call him out in a nice way, be like, oh, this doesn't taste quite traditional, because having actual, like, traditional Greek people come, it needs to be real.
Yeah.
And they got most of it, like almost all of it, spot on.
Awesome.
And I even told our catering lead, like, just letting you know, the groom is very, he knows his food very well. And they loved the compliment that Thanos gave him, like, this is very good. That's all they needed to hear. And I'm sure, like behind the scenes, they were like, high five. Yeah. And so at the wedding, so many people though were going up and telling them, and even the Greek guests were coming up and saying how much they loved it. And
that's awesome.
I ate at 9 p.m. and it was real good too. And but we did have some Southern elements where I think we had little chicken bites, little chicken biscuits during appetizers. Maybe that was late night snack. But people really like the combo of the two. And you got to do the mac and cheese. That's not Greek, but mac and cheese from Pink Avocado, really anywhere. Mac and cheese is great. It's fancy mac and cheese. So people really enjoyed that. As far as like the cake goes, we got the cake from Sweet Treets Bakery, and you'll see in the video, like, it's very simple. So we did a design on the wall above it, these little the little Greek arches. And so in between it, Meredith got a custom sign made that has their initials on it. So we have like that gold, the M&T theme. And then we had the cake on a beautiful like Greek essence gold stand. And then the cake just had horizontal texture, as Sweet Treats would say, around it. But then we just did a few pieces of the greenery because it just fit the theme, like light and simple there. And then it draws your eyes up to the main Meredith and Thanos. Awesome. You got to do the sparkler exit at Prospect House. I think a lot of us vendors are afraid of it, I would say. But in the way where it's a lot of people with fire sticks.
A lot of drunk people.
Yes. And so at Momentous, we have a rule where if we feel like they're a little too feeling it, they don't get a fire stick. Yeah. But we love the shot of like the clean lines, obviously for the venue, and then having like that nice straight line here, and you got to do the famous like dip kiss. Mm-hmm. And what I've learned in my past is like all my couples are so excited for this very moment because they want that picture of them being like, So.
Yeah, I know our team definitely had a great time shooting that. Marshall and Ryan, our two team members that shot that day, it was definitely anytime there's like a different culture or something that's, a little bit out of the ordinary stuff, it's always super fun. And Marshall, who's also our editor, I know it was a really special edit for him. It was because their story was so great and they had so many cool, elements and the emotions and the family. Mm-hmm. It was really important to us to really craft the video in a way that would really highlight those key features. Yeah.
And I do want to give props to you guys too, as far as the video goes. Every time I watched it, I mean, it makes me cry too. Taylor and I bond over that. But you did such a lovely job when it comes to capturing those moments that you just spoke of. I mean, this wedding, a lot of weddings are family filled and very emotional, but this one was particularly so. And Marshall and Ryan got every single shot. And I mean, yes, that's what you would hope videographers would do, but I mean, they really were spot on. They got the perfect angles and they were there. And I know I watched them a few times where they were feeling the emotions and they were like, okay, gotta get it. But also, I mean,
team of romantics.
Yes,
sure,
I love it.
Question.
But they were very, I mean, I send my timeline out, but they knew what was next. And they very much, not that I ever have a problem vendor, but they were just they just knew it. And they knew it was next. They were so polite. And they were like, we got you, Carissa. And I was like, I got you. And so it was a really good teamwork we had a really good team bond. And it was great. And yeah, I really thank you for having such a lovely team.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it.
Well, thanks again for coming on, Carissa. And thank you to each of you watching at home. And remember, keep Austin married.